Tom Pelissero here with Judd Zulgad across the street from Vikings headquarters. About a little more than 48 hours, Judd, till the NFL draft begins.
Correct.
On Thursday night. I thought it was very telling. After Rick Spielman got done with about 2 minutes of shout-outs to his entire scouting department, first thing he drops in without being asked is, boy, that trade market's really heating up.
Yeah, it was this time of year, don't believe anything you hear. And Rick Spielman, he set the agenda. Nobody even had to ask him one question today. Rick Spielman started the subterfuge right away. And that's why, Tom, this time of year, literally the last 2 weeks, you cannot believe anything you hear. What you thought 2 months ago is probably more accurate than what you're hearing right now.
Well, and beyond that, I think that there's probably something to that. I wouldn't doubt at all the teams are beginning to call more, but you still have Spielman sitting there in a position where he knows there's a couple of players the teams might be really dead set on trying to get. And if that's Cleveland, it's probably Trent Richardson. If it's Tampa Bay, it's probably Morris Claiborne or Trent Richardson. If it's St. Louis, it's Justin Blackmon, although I find it hard to believe that they'd trade all the way up to number 3. There's a lot of moving parts here, but what's interesting is you've got the same group of guys that's kind of clumped together with those 4 teams between 3 and 6, all probably looking at the same pool of players, and that means they all may have certain things that they're willing to do and certain things are not.
So what Spielman's trying to do right now is create as big a market as possible, right? I mean, that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to put it out there so the Rams, the Browns, the Buccaneers, whoever he wants to hear it, hear his message that I'm talking trade right now and I might make a trade sooner rather than later. Who knows if that's true? But yeah, he was setting, and he always tries to do this, after he gives a shout out to the entire staff at the Vikings. It's a yearly deal. He gives the shout out and then he follows up by trying to set the agenda, and the agenda has never been more important than it's going to be this year.
Well, and look back at the past couple of drafts. 2 years ago, the Vikings do end up trading out of the number 30 pick. They go down to 34, end up taking Chris Cook there.
Yep.
Last year, they did everything they could to try to trade down from that pick as well, because once it became apparent that Christian Ponder was probably going to be the pick, they wanted to see if they could get him down a little bit lower, but
Sure.
They also knew that Washington was sitting there. Would Washington have actually taken Christian Ponder? I don't know, but I know the Vikings were not willing to go behind the Redskins in that order.
Right.
They had really similar grades from what I was told in hindsight on Jake Locker and Christian Ponder. They were pretty close, and I know they loved Locker. They liked Christian Ponder a lot, but it just points out that it takes 2 to tango. If there's not someone there willing to trade with you, it doesn't matter how much you want to trade the pick. You can't do it. You're not going to trade just to trade the pick. You got to get something worthwhile out of it.
And Jake Locker, to me, is the cautionary tale of the draft.
Not
of all
Blaine
time.
Gabbert?
In this sense, the cautionary tale not to listen to what you hear. What did we hear around this time last year? Jake Locker was free falling. He was going to fall potentially out of the first round. That's what we heard from the media, from the experts, from everybody at this time last year. It was a complete farce. What's going on with teams right now, really, and what's being put out there is so different. That's why right now, to trust what you hear is ridiculous. You are better off trusting what you think of a team's draft right now than trusting what they're trying to tell you. Jake Locker was going to fall out of the first round. He went, 8th overall to Tennessee.
I got some more calls I got to put out over the next 24 hours here, but you give me your percent chance right now on 4 possibilities. Matt Khalil, Morris Claiborne, Justin Blackmon, trade.
Trade and attempt to get Khalil is what I think they want to do.
Give me the percent chance.
Can they do
percent chance in each one.
Matt,
Sit there and take one of those 3 guys or trade.
yeah. Matt Khalil, I'll give you an 85% chance. 'Cause
Wow.
I think he's the guy. I think he's the guy, and here's why. Real quick. Who is Rick Spielman invested in? Who is Rick Spielman's guy?
Christian Ponder.
Yes, he sinks or swims as a GM. That's his pick from last year, folks. That's not Les Frazier's pick. That is Rick Spielman's pick. He has to protect Christian Ponder. I put a huge chance that they take Khalil. Now, I think what he wants to do is he'd love to trade back and get the left tackle, but I really think at the end of the day, they're going to end up with the left tackle because he needs to protect Christian Ponder, because if he doesn't and Ponder gets hurt, you know what? Spielman's ruined as a GM for this team, and this is his second bite at the apple. This is going to be it.
You got 15% left to dole out there.
All right, I'll put a 5% chance on Claiborne. I don't think the chance of Claiborne being picked by the Vikings at 3 is good at all. I really don't. So I put
I
the
have it a
rest of it
little
on a
higher
trade.
than I did as of 3 days ago, but I still don't think that it's more likely than Khalil.
If they take Claiborne, though, to me, that's Les Frazier's pick. And it was made very clear today, once again, and I believe it, this is Rick Spielman's draft.
I don't think that's Frazier's pick. I don't think that – go back to what they did before the Combine, where they looked and Rick Spielman brought the coaches in and said, where do you want your blue money spent? Where do you want to have your primary resources spent?
Yep.
If Leslie Frazier's going to continue running the sort of scheme, and I know that Rick started parsing semantics today and saying, well, we're not truly a cover 2 team. We run cover 1 and cover 3 as well.
Which, by the way, we've been hearing for years from these guys. These guys have tried to avoid saying they're a cover 2 team.
Nobody
forever.
plays one thing all the time. You mix coverages, but the base defense is the Tampa 2, or at least the cover 2 scheme. Point being, nobody would say in their right mind you need to put your blue caliber talent at the corner positions in that defense. You need to have it at nose tackle. You need to have it at middle linebacker. You need good players, but do you need a guy who's a press man corner out there? That would suggest to me that they're going to go away from the defense, which I don't think Frazier wants to do.
Right.
I think that would be Spielman's pick.
Well, I'm just saying if a defensive guy picks a cornerback, I say that's his pick. Spielman, here's the key thing to keep in mind. Spielman and Ponder are tied, right? So the left tackle is tied to those two. So you bring in, so Spielman, Ponder is Spielman's guy. He now needs to protect his quarterback. The left tackle does that for him. I think it all flows together. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. I just think it all flows together.
Is she going to go 5% Blackman, 5% trade then?
Yeah. Yep.
That's such a cop-out.
Why? Why is it a cop-out?
Because you just split the other 15%. I thought maybe you'd give like 12, 2, and 1 or something.
You know, I'm not good at math. I'm a Catholic school kid, man.
we will be out here throughout the NFL draft Thursday, Friday, and Saturday running a live chat, a forum. You'll be able to bring out all of your opinions on the draft. It should be total madness. Nate Sandell is going to join us out here, too, to help us run it. He is Judd. I'm Tom. Full Vikings coverage is at 1500ESPN.com. See ya.